Everyone, welcome back to WCB Jazz Vinyl. Today we're going to talk about a release that I've really been looking forward to for a while, and that is a box set titled Plumb. This is put out by JMI Recordings, and it features David Murray, QuestLove, and Ray Angry. So before we dive in, as always, hit like, hit subscribe, head over to Instagram and follow me at what_can_brown. All right, so Plumb. This is one of two box sets that JMI Recordings just started shipping. So they're available now on JMI's website. I don't think it's available anywhere else online, but I do believe some select stores. Don't ask me which, no idea. I think maybe like Jazz Record Center, and I'm sure that there's some other ones around the country. But for the most part, you have to order this from JMI Recordings. So know that. So the first box set is Plumb, and that's what we're going to talk about today really exclusively. This is what I want to focus on. But I also wanted to bring up that Ray Angry's set 3 is also out and shipping today as well. So the thing to know about both of these is that I'm calling them box sets. These are albums. These are singular albums. It just so happens that they're long albums. So Plumb is 4 discs. And Ray Angry's 3 is, well, it's 3 discs. And so there's a lot of content here, but box set implies compilation. These are not compilations. This is like singular albums. It's just that they're long. There's a ton of content here, and here's the thing. It's a lot of a great thing. All right. So I was super excited that Plumb finally shipped, and I did say finally because this music was released last year. In fact, I almost want to say that maybe the first track was made available for streaming in like the summer, maybe. I think its official release might have been the fall. Like Downbeat had the opportunity to review this set, which by the way, they gave 5 stars and put it on their best of 2023 list. So that's pretty exciting. But due to a variety of sort of issues, it wasn't available on vinyl until really just in the last couple of weeks is when it started shipping. And from what I understand, and from some of my conversations in the past, both on this channel with Steve Mandel, one of the producers, as well as kind of offline, they just had some issues with the production process in terms of improving test pressings, making sure they were getting in something that they were happy with. So I think that there was a high attention to detail on this particular release, and that is the reason why it was delayed. But guess what? What we have, in sort of exchange for our wait is just a beautiful, beautiful box set. So if this looks kind of strange in terms of the material, well, this is like velvet or something. Like, I don't know exactly if it's like velvet, but it's like feels like velvet. I mean, this set is a gorgeous box set in every single way. Very well constructed, very sturdy, came shipped very nicely, well protected, and everything like that. And yeah, it is just absolutely gorgeous. So I want to do a couple of things in this video. One is talk about the physical packaging of this thing, but I also obviously want to talk about the music and how well it's presented here on vinyl. This is not the first time I've brought up this set because I've talked about both the fact that I pre-ordered it, that I had listened to tracks and I was looking forward to the release. Then I had Steve Mandel on my channel and I interviewed him back in, I want to say February, and we talked about it. So there's already been some conversation about this release. But hey, we talk about vinyl on this channel. This is the first opportunity that we have to actually assess the vinyl. Alrighty, so packaging, and I'll try to include a couple of cutaways just so you can get an even better idea. But as I said, it's kind of this like crushed velvet thing. It's called Plumb. It's plum colored, right? Get it? And yeah, it's, like I said, it's gorgeous. So a couple of sort of the pieces of this packaging. Obviously, you have the cover, and this does fully remove from the back, right? So it's not a folding thing, which I think is good for 4 discs because sometimes the heaviness of a box, if it has a fold, it's more likely to split, to separate, right? So this one doesn't. So anyway, very nice all around. You've got this kind of inner paper, and It says, so three plebeians walk into a bar. It's funny. I think I was watching, it was either a discussion, I want to say it was a discussion with QuestLove, maybe on QuestLove Supreme podcast, where he referenced that this is what he wanted the title of the album to be. But anyway, they went with Plumb. The back of this box is also gorgeous. So they have, again, this sort of paper insert an image and logo there. And then on the back of it, you have the three musicians. This is just very clean, very simple. You don't even have like copyrights on this. It's just like, just extremely clean. And I think it's, like I said, I just think it's absolutely a gorgeous box. So obviously, independent of the box, you do have a little bit of vinyl in here, right? So one of the things that I've referenced in prior videos is that they have their own kind of branded inner sleeves. I think in a nod to CTI, that kind of reproduced that CTI image across their inner sleeves as well. And if I'm remembering correctly, those were yellow. So yeah, so what they've done here for each of the four discs is that they have these custom inserts. So obviously 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So yeah, these are each gorgeous. The vinyl arrived in absolutely flawless condition, no issues whatsoever, perfectly flat, no marks, anything like that. Each of the labels kind of sort of look, sorry, I need to I had like a dog hair that somehow got on that one. Each of the labels look like this. So again, the you know, the logo kind of carries through, right, across the entire set. So absolutely gorgeous. Again, no issues with the vinyl as it came in. The box did come with a hype sticker, and I tend to these days kind of save these things. I usually just separate the shrink wrap and throw it in the box, right? So it comes with a hype sticker. A lot of JMI's releases lately are coming with a thank you note from JMI, which is cool. They're also coming with a you know, a sort of an insert that highlights a number of their releases that are available, which is cool as well. It came with a Plumb sticker, right? By the way, I have a plan for like all of my vinyl related stickers, and I'll share that when that comes to fruition. So because there's no liner notes, right? There's no liner notes from what we've seen thus far. It's not on the box. They also included this this just sort of bifold, right, with some of that detail, as well as photos from the session and your track list. Okay, so there's a lot here. Oops. There's a lot that comes with it, but guess what? That's not all that comes with it. It comes with a drumstick. This is one of QuestLove's drumsticks that he actually used. This is like the game worn jersey of the music world, right? So you can see like the marks all along it. It's got QuestLove's printed, you know, kind of signature, right, stamped sort of signature on the sticks, because I guess these are the sticks that he uses. And my understanding is that with the first pressing run of this box set, they're including one of these sticks in with every single order. So pretty damn cool. Like what other label is doing something like that, right? So all in all, this box set, you know, this is what I always say, because like you can't listen to the packaging, right? The beauty of the packaging of this box set matches the beauty of the music. That is the idea. Like this music is absolutely gorgeous. It's amazing, and we're about to get into that in just a second. But what's really nice is when these labels take the attention to ensure that that the packaging, the beauty of the packaging matches the beauty of the music, and I think the JMI did a great job in this case. All right, so the music. So this is a trio format, right? So we've got QuestLove's drums, we've got David Murray's reeds, and then we have Ray Angry's keys. And so you can kind of unpack that, right? Because Ray Angry doesn't just play, say, piano or even keyboard per se, but there's like synthesizer sounds in here that that at some points, you know, has like a variety of different sort of tonal character, right? I mean, you know, in some situations, it's like 8-bit Nintendo game, kind of like like almost like MIDI style or something keys, but in others it's like, you know, it's just it's denser and more like synth strings kind of thing. So it's like there's a variety of different sort of tonal character. So it isn't just a, you know, a piano, sax, and drums record, if that makes sense. Now at the same time, one thing we have to keep in mind, and one thing I think that helps characterize this music a little bit, is that, JMI uses an all analog process throughout the chain. And so, where I think if there's like a high level sort of standout element on this album, it's this idea that there is very much an organic nature to all of the music here, very acoustic nature to it, that almost is like it's almost like twisting around this more digital kind of component that is the keyboards, are really like the synthesizer, that adds just a really interesting sort of sonic character to again the music. So in effect, it makes it really difficult to classify this music as one subgenre or another. And why do we need to classify it, right? It's simply music. But what jumped out at me as I was listening to this sort of sprawling album is that it doesn't really sound like anything else that's being put out. Now, you could say that it's a combination of a variety of traditions and a variety of different kind of, maybe subgenres. But it's difficult to classify it on its own because it does sound like very new. It's like very like kind of different. It's a different thing. Um, and that probably doesn't make sense if you haven't previewed some of the tracks, and I encourage everyone to preview the tracks. They're available on YouTube. I think you can stream them, and I think you can preview them, but I'm not sure you can actually buy the tracks digitally yet. But I would encourage folks to do that. If there's another point of reference of another musician who I think is interpreting other styles of music and also doing something new and putting it out. I would say that Steve Lehman is another good reference point. So he put out an album called Ex Machina. I think he's in a band, or maybe it's the name of the album, called Celebayon. Really, really excellent stuff. And what he's doing is kind of taking not only sort of the traditions of jazz saxophone, and especially and certainly free jazz, but incorporating hip hop beats and like almost like a math rock approach to the syncopation of his saxophone with the drums. That's really, really exciting. He's another musician who I think is doing amazing things these days. Similarly, this trio here is doing very interesting things and combining a variety of traditions. I think that each of these musicians are bringing themselves to the trio and representing themselves and their manner of playing and their personalities. But what's also clear is that when these three come together, the interaction that we get is actual it's absolutely just fascinating to listen to. So my limited understanding of what happened in the studio is that compositions were brought, even if sketches, right, of like compositions were brought to the studio, but there was a lot of the music that ended up on this record is something that evolved in during the actual recording process, in terms of, yeah, maybe they knew how they were going to start out. Maybe they agreed upon before they hit record, they said, "Hey, this is where we're going to start." But my guess is that they didn't necessarily know where they would end up, or how this music would evolve. Even within the very same track. So the thing to pay attention to is how the musicians react again to each other's playing, because what you'll hear as these pieces unfold is that one musician will be playing and the others will be supporting it for a time before one of them takes an idea, whether it's a rhythm or whether it's like a little melodic statement, and then they start carrying that in a different direction, and the other two musicians kind of follow it. And in some cases there is a little bit of that, hey, I'm leading and we're supporting and following. And then in other times there's a little bit of these three musicians kind of each twisting and turning around each other's statements, finding something that fits and makes sense within it. And I don't think that this would even be possible if these musicians were not as as accomplished and as experienced as they are, and they hadn't played as many different styles of music and have that familiarity. But it's also clear that these three musicians are just insanely creative, and I don't think that needs to be said by me or really anybody else. You know that because of the body of their work and sort of their credentials. So what I don't want people to take away from even my sort of rambling discussion of this album is that this is long form improvisation, because it's certainly not. So first of all, across the four sides, we do have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 tracks. So none of them are, I don't want to say none of them are particularly long, because I do think there's like a 16-minute one in here. But it's not long form improvisation. And I think one of the standouts of this album and really all these pieces is that there is a heavy sense of, if not melody, if there's at least a lyrical quality to a lot of it. And what I think helps elevate a lot of this music is that there is this, it's the rhythm, it's the mood that is created by these, and you're not going to get bored by listening to any of these tracks because there's so much to focus on. You don't have to worry about, long format atonal solos or something like that. It's definitely not that. It's more about the groove. It's more about the rhythm. There's like a driving energy through so many of these pieces, and even the ones that are a little bit slower, it's like atmospheric and spacey. Like it's really interesting. I think a lot of that kind of character is provided by Ray Angry, honestly, because of his use of synthesizer and leveraging some of these different sounds to create moods within each of these pieces. And so you'll never get bored and you'll never get lost because again, he's like they're creating environments with the music, or they're like driving things forward, and there's this like heightened energy and it's exciting music. So it's yeah, I think that it's really difficult to explain this because what I don't have to anchor you on is possible. Well, certainly your knowledge of these musicians performing together because they've never done that before. Although I think some of these I'd have to look into that. I don't know if these folks have played that much before. I do think Questlove and David Murray have had some experience playing before together. I'm not positive. But we don't have standards to point you to because these are all original compositions. So it's difficult to talk about how this music comes together. But I hope that I'm somewhat doing it justice, even in kind of these vague terms. But again, your best bet is not listening to me and what I think about this music. Your best bet is to go and actually experience this music. And a couple of the highlights that I think you should pay attention to. First one is the opening, which is also the title track, Plumb. Definitely give that one a listen. That's a little bit longer format. Another is Atomic Number or Atomic Number. And both have very different characters. So I think Plum is a little bit more of that high energy side, and Atomic Number is more on the spacey side. And again, outer space, not like space, like physical space. And yeah, I think that that gives you a good flavor, but at the same time, I'm pretty confident that really anybody who's interested in, sort of modern creative music and in some of these sort of musical traditions that I've referenced that are presented here, I think you're going to find a lot to love in this album. So Plum, how does it sound? Here's a reminder of what it looks like. How does it sound? Well, like every other JMI Recordings release, it sounds absolutely amazing. I think it benefits particularly from a stereo soundstage because, again, this is more adventurous music, and I know that that is not necessarily for everyone. Again, it's this kind of modern approach to composition. There's a lot of improvisation, including group improvisation. But again, I think that they sort of feed off each other in really exciting ways. I do think it benefits though a lot from the stereo separation that a listening room or kind of setup can offer, and I think it absolutely sounds amazing. There's a lot of like again sort of sonic detail, and it's just really vibrant. There's a lot of space around the instruments, and you can just tell that they did a great job of actually just the execution process of this in the studio. And so there's absolutely nothing to complain about there, and in fact, only things that will sort of surprise and delight, I think, as you listen to it. I mean, so I guess the sum up here is that I think this is phenomenal. I mean, I think in my 2023 roundup video, I said that if this was put out on vinyl, I would have called it one of my favorite releases of 2023. We had to wait until 2024 for the vinyl. And so, well, it's going to make my 2024 list. And actually, I think this is some of the best new music over the last couple of years that's been put out. I'm that sort of excited about this release. And obviously, Downbeat thought it was great, but it's not for everyone. For some of the you've probably already gotten a sense based on some of my discussion about whether it's right for you. The other thing to consider is that this is not an inexpensive set. So the box set is $175. Again, available from JMI's site. And so that comes out to, what is that? Like a little over $40, maybe about $43 per disc. So, here's the thing. Is that expensive? Yeah, it's an expensive box set, but what they did with it, I mean, in terms of the packaging, I just think that at least when you're spending the money, you're getting something of high quality, right? Because this is great. Obviously, the discs and all of the inserts and the fact that they threw in the stick, I don't I'm not in this industry. I don't think that JMI is making money hand over fist with every single sale of this. My guess is that they're probably appropriately representing the cost of manufacturing with this. And so you could say, oh, why didn't they go, why couldn't they have made it cheaper and not have it be as nice? Well, they didn't want to, because I just feel like that's not their brand really with what they're doing and their kind of approach to vinyl. They're going for high quality, all analog process. I think they know that that's more expensive than digital. It's definitely more expensive than digital. Um, and yet these are the choices, right? That a label makes, and to some degree, JMI is a little bit on their own at the moment, or in space with few others in terms of actually approaching new releases like this. There's actually another label that just launched very very recently that I'll probably be discussing in an upcoming video that's kind of going through a similar type of strategy. But I think it's exciting. I think it's exciting for a variety for a number of reasons. Both that there's a label out there that's putting this much attention to this great music, but they're also, I don't want to say placing bets with musicians of this caliber, but they're willing to make the investment to allow these musicians to come together to do something that's a little bit more experimental, um, and to put it out in its best possible in the best possible way that it could be presented. So. No complaints. I was very excited to place my pre-order so long ago, but to be able to wait and have this be the payoff. I'm excited to dive into that Ray Angry box set, which I'll be doing on another upcoming video as well. So go preview some tracks. I'm going to put a couple of YouTube links in the description of this video so that you can click over and preview it, because it's great stuff, and I think you should. So thanks for tuning in, everybody, and I'll see you next time.